So I was going to ask our last presenter for an interesting fact about himself as well, and I'm not saying he isn't an interesting person. I'm sure many of us know Howard, but ultimately I decided that the only germane fact that I ought to mention is that he is the person keeping us from networking and drinks at the reception.
No pressure. So you have 3 minutes.
So over to you, Howard.
Thank you for the introduction, Terry. So the OSTP memo issued in February of 2013, publishers got together to create an open technology platform to meet the call for public access. All 21 agencies have heard back around March, and all are due to send in a reply by this May or June. So Chorus is a not-for-profit organization. Here's a look at a variety of the publishers, services, and scholarly societies that make up the board behind Chorus. The vast majority are not-for-profit, and we have over 100 signatories. You can see that there are a wide variety of types of supporters, from small to large and not-for-profit to commercial. Note that the great number of American supporters are there, but we also have international ones like Nature Publishing Group, Springer, and RSC. Now, fundraising has taken place to make the service sustainable in the near term, and we are now in the second part of our pilot phase, having added to our first 7 pilot publishers to over a dozen. We expect to be in full production in July. So we have stakeholder personas. Here you see them. Alan Agency, Rachel Researcher, Lottie the Librarian, Peter Public, and Penny the Publisher. They all want different things, but they all want identification, discovery, compliance, preservation, and access. That's the key thing. A key principle of ORCID is to preserve agency funds for research. So Chorus leverages the existing infrastructure of scholarly publishing. So here we're talking about Crossref, FundRef, and ORCID, all help with the identification part. Clocks and Portico do the preservation. So how does Chorus work? When a researcher submits a paper to a journal, they will interact with the publisher's manuscript tracking system. The researcher is prompted to identify the funding agencies behind the research as well as the grant ID. They select from a controlled vocabulary provided by FundRef, over 5,900 terms worldwide. That's it. The paper then goes through the regular peer review process, and once published, the funding information is deposited with the DOI and other bibliometadata to Crossref. When the paper is published, it's deposited by publishers into at least one dark archive, either Clocks, Portico, and potentially any other dark repository chosen by a funding agency. We're working hard to make this as easy as possible for everyone. Now, that's not the only part, because we're talking about access. So articles are made publicly available by the publisher on their website after the embargo period expires, or immediately if an author funder has paid an article processing charge. They get the accepted manuscript or the published version of the record. This is called the best available version. These articles can be discovered by a user's favorite search engine or text mining tools, all powered by the API, and it could either be a system that we've built or a system the agency's built. Whatever it might be, we can power it. So here's the Chorus pilot search service live at search.chorusaccess.org. When you type in an agency such as NSF, it uses the 5,900 terms of the FundRef taxonomy to prompt the rest. And then you can execute the search. So on the left-hand side, you're going to see the FundRef taxonomy at work, showing the NSF hierarchy. Another thing to note in the results is that a great many of the articles here have their research funded by at least 2 agencies. So you can see NSF and NIH, NOAA and NSF, etc. And then when you scroll down the page, you're going to see additional search facets: publishers, years included in our pilot, journals included, etc. But they all have DOI links pointing back to the full text where? On the publisher's full text sites. Now, the same API that powers the Chorus search engine can also feed an agency search portal. So here's an inside view of the yet-to-be-released DOE pages system. They're actively ingesting content. More than 4,000 records into the Chorus pilot have been already in there, and they're linking back to the publisher's site by the DOI. An important part of Chorus is compliance. The Chorus API feeds the Chorus dashboards, which are now live in pilot form. The very same API that powers search can be used to create different reports. Here's a look at the dashboard that we created for the NSF. This is keeping track of number of articles identified as coming from NSF research, number of articles with agreeable reuse and access licenses, number of articles publicly accessible, and also number of articles deposited in dark archives. So, what does a publisher need to do? Well, first, become a signatory of Chorus. Join the over 100 that we have now. Become a member of Crossref if you're not already one. So if you're not one of the 4,400, please join. Sign up for FundRef as part of your Crossref membership. It's already included. Submit agency-related data to Crossref FundRef for all new content. Then send your content reuse license and embargo metadata for public access content to Crossref. Deposit your full-text URIs with Crossref. And then finally, if you're so bold, sign the Chorus pilot agreement and then potentially become a member in the summer when we have it available. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. It's been my pleasure. Have drinks.